Hi everybody, welcome to Fiddlesticks and Stitches. I'm Fiddle. I really hope you like my new opening. I am still working with the program and teaching myself how to animate, and this has been my newest project. It took me around about a week to complete, and there's more interaction than there was before. Snowball fight! Ready? Here it comes! Got ya! Today's project is a kitchen pantry or a wardrobe for a bedroom. Link to patterns and materials for this project are in the description. The first thing we need to do is cut out our pieces of wood. You can do this by printing your pattern, tracing it on your wood, and cutting it out. I did not record me cutting these pieces out because it took me about an hour, because at the point in time I was using that little orange handled cutter, and that was it. After cutting the main pieces out, I made sure I had the right ones in the right order in the right places, and then I moved on to the divider piece. For this piece I used a chip cardboard, or what I like to call cereal box cardboard. The box that I used had printing on it, so I sanded that so that way it gave a surface for the glue to stick to. To avoid the raw edge of the paper, I traced my pattern onto the paper, and then I used my ruler to give a nice crease, so that way that creased edge will be towards you. The raw edges will be towards the back of the cupboard. Hopefully that made sense. I will show you later on in the video when we get to that part. I wanted to avoid as much wrinkling as possible, so I used a Elmer's glue stick instead of Elmer's glue or any type of liquid glue. It held up just fine because you have to remember the raw edge is going to be towards the back. After giving a good coat of glue, I mashed it down and I put it up underneath my craft mat so it'd be nice and flat. The next step is to glue in our wood brackets for our shelves. If I could do it differently, I would have done this differently because it threw my lines off. What I did was I drew my lines out for the side walls to be next to the backboard, not on top of it, and that threw off the size of my doors. And this is why I added the little assembly diagram on there, because I know that if I forgot to do it or messed that up, then it's always possible that someone would do the same thing. So when you go to put in your shelf brackets, put them all the way to the edge of the wood. I would even go as far as to say maybe even use a smaller wood piece than I did. I used a bulk wood from Hobby Lobby. It came with these nice square dowels that I thought would be perfect, but after putting it together, they were really too big and bulky. I needed a thinner, smaller wood, and really toothpicks would be best. And you see that I did not add bracer bars to the back of the cabinet, which is perfectly fine. I think it looks better without them with as big as they were, but that is an option if you wanted to put them in there. When you start laying your strips on the cardboard piece, make sure that they're towards the raw edge of the paper. One of the things I was considering while I was making this was what I was going to be putting in the cupboard. I knew that I wasn't going to be doing a traditional kitchen hutch. That led me to decide on a potato bin below and a flour and sugar bin above, and then, of course, cans, and last but not least, dishes. I really didn't think too much about the pots and pans. I came up with a pretty good solution for it. I'm sure you'll like it, but that's a later video. Okay, do you remember earlier where I said I messed my lines up? Here is where mistake number 2 with that came in. I glued the side walls to the side of the backboard when I should have glued it to the top of it. Like I said, that was why I put that diagram in there. This threw off my lines by about 1/4 of an inch, so I had to add an extra strip to one of the doors to make it wide enough. My mind was thinking, in order to stabilize it so it'll hold itself up and glue, do it on the side and that'll hold it up. Which it did work, but I didn't think that through all the way. It still turned out okay in the end. Moving on, we're going to grab our cardboard piece while that's drying, and we're going to glue a wood brace along the back of it, on the side without the shelves. I held it on there with binder paper clips and set it aside to dry. I did make a little bin to go on the second from the bottom shelf, so this would have been the flour and sugar bin, but while I was making it, I ended up cutting one piece of wood two different ways for two different pieces, and that that completely messed it up, and it did not fit in there. I have to make another one, but I did not include that in the pattern just because I didn't have the right measurements for it. I missed some footage of me adding the cardboard divider, but go ahead and add your cardboard divider and then we're going to glue our shelves in. Next in the process is the sidewall base and then the top. For the sidewall, I used the little bin that I made to keep it vertical so the glue would dry. And for the top and bottom, I actually wrapped a piece of tape all the way around it to hold it in place. Now for the next part, I am going to be fixing my mistake. To do this, I found a thin strip that was just the right thickness and I cut it down to size and glued it to the side of my door. You should not have to do this, but I just wanted to show you how I solved the problem that I created. Now onto the tedious process of adding the hinges. These are so tiny and they have little teeny tiny nails that come with them. However, just the nails and the wood will not hold it together, so you're going to need to use some sort of glue. I scuffed up each hinge before I applied any glue or anything to them to try to give it a little bit of a tooth so the glue might stick better. We have yet to see. So far, they are holding up. But after I sanded each hinge, I marked them out where I wanted them on the door, and then I poked my pencil through each one of the teeny tiny holes for the nails. Then I removed the hinge and used a straight pin type tool to poke the holes where the nails were going to be going. I put the glue on the back of the hinge and carefully put each one of the pins in and used the rubber end of my pliers to push them down into the holes. Attaching the hinges to the pantry is a little bit different. One step is already taken care of for you, is all you have to do is lay it out as it would be, mark out your holes, and again do the same thing, poke them with the needle, put your glue on, and then put your pins in. I have not decided what kind of handles I'm going to add, if any, but for now, our project is finished. I'm definitely going to have to try this one again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I'll see you next time.